In this video, we're going to discuss the availability of guns that we have scanned here at EMS. EMS has a federal firearms license that allows customers to send us handguns and other guns to be 3D scanned. And typically they are used for aftermarket accessories such as holsters, different types of sights, maybe new grips, lights, and other things that you may add on to the gun. And that's really the main purpose of these models. It's not to reverse engineer it or change it or do anything like that. They're really meant for customers who want to add something to it, and the data is not available anywhere else. So people have sent us various weapons through the years, and so we've scanned them and we've made them available to our customers. Now, if you take a look here, this is an H&K VP9, and this is the scan data, okay? And we use a very expensive and very high accuracy, high quality, high resolution blue light 3D scanner to scan these. So if you zoom up and you can look at the level of detail on this model, you can see it's very, very good. So you can see the text. So this is a typical model, very high fidelity, that we would offer to one of our customers. Now, what we want to try to do in this video is just kind of explain the model types, because there's two primary model types that we output or can output for our customers. The first one is what you see here. This is a STL file. Stands for stereolithography. This file format has been around for a very long time. Anybody that uses a 3D printer typically will take their CAD file and convert it to an STL file. But this is the native format for just about every 3D scanner. So when we 3D scan a gun and create what we call a watertight model, and what that means is, basically it's completely closed, there's no holes in it, and we use special software to make it watertight. This is what you end up with. But this is not a CAD model. This is a Polygon STL file, which basically means it's just a bunch of little triangles, okay? So if you do load this in your CAD system, typically you can't do anything with it. So if you use AutoCAD or SolidWorks or Inventor, any CAD kind of traditional solid modeling CAD software, you can load this in and you can look at it, but you cannot work with it. You can't cut sections, you can't extract any information, you can't even measure it. And if you take a look here, this model has 7 million polygons on it. So if I were to zoom in really close and come up here and turn on what we call the edges and kind of zoom in, you can see it's just little triangles, and it's difficult to see because these triangles are so small. They're probably about 0.1 millimeters right now at this resolution, because again, this scanner is very, very high resolution, down to 16 micron point spacing. For these, I believe we're probably using around 100 to 200 microns, which again is more than enough. But on a lot of these guns, especially here on this one, you can see the grip has all this patterning to it, and for some people that's important, so we want to try to pick that up. So this is a polygon model. Typically, if you're going to load it into a CAD system and want to work with it, this model is not going to help you out, okay? But we do list them for sale because some people can work with them. What most people want is a solid model, okay? And let me turn that off and turn this back on. So this is the same model, but in more of a CAD format. So now you notice instead of having triangles, we have these little square patches all over. And we call it a surface wrap model. So it's just a quilted patch of these little little quadhedrons, quads all over the model. Okay, so basically what we do, if we turn back on the STL for a minute and turn off the CAD, you can kind of see it's fitted through there. So we use very special software. This is called Geomagic Design X, that can import this scan data. This software is built purposely for scan data, and it uses an algorithm to fit these patches. These are surface patches that get fit, and the software kind of determines how to make the shape of them based on some settings we make, and then the curvature of the geometry. So you can kind of see in the handle where you've got a lot more curvature, you may see more of these patches. and then in the more flatter areas, you'll see less of them. But now what we have is a file that we can output in IGES, STEP, or Parasolid, and that is a solid model format. Now, how this differs from a traditional solid model, if you were to create something from scratch, you typically create a sketch and then you would extrude it or loft it or do something. And that's kind of called history tree or sketch modeling, okay? But we're not doing that in this case. We're just taking that scan data and just fitting a bunch of surfaces through it, okay? And then closing it all up, and that makes it a solid manifold or a solid body. So it will come in as one manifold. There will not be a history tree, but it is a watertight solid body. Now you can use this then to extract things, to build things around it, and then use this in a Boolean operation to then cut away. You can measure it, you can cut sections through it, you can create sketches on it. You can do a lot of things with it. Again, there's no history tree to roll back through, but you can definitely bring this into a CAD system and use it to build geometry that fits around it. So this is what most people want, okay? And that's what we can deliver. The only other type of model we can create is a feature-based model. Now you can see this was a different gun. I don't have one for the H&K, but we actually built a solid model. This is more of your history tree modeling. So you can see the surfaces are more intelligent. We have planes, we have cylinders, we have maybe fillets and so on. But this is more work, and it's more of a manual operation to do this, and this is priced individually. So for this particular customer, he needed really just some very specific CAD information around the trigger guard on this gun. So we'll custom quote things for customers based on their needs. But we have standard pricing for existing STL files of guns. We have pricing if we don't have it and you need to send yours in. And then same for the solid body models. We have standard pricing for existing ones and pricing again if we have to create it from scratch. And then finally, what we call a custom quote would be where you need this feature-driven, very specific solid model. Okay, so those are the three types of models we can build for you. We get these questions asked most commonly, but that's what we can do. And again, we can custom quote anything that's kind of not in that standard. But on our website, we have an order form with all the guns we currently have in our library, and you can order the standard ones, or again, we can custom quote anything that we don't have.